Horror is a genre that lends itself to telling a story using only the minimalist setting at the filmmaker's disposal and the craft of filmmaking to create something chilling. Undertone has a premise that has potential to do a lot with sound to convey the fear felt by its lead character, a podcaster named Evie. Unfortunately, the film becomes a slow burn and struggles to create tension with its several scenes of Evie sitting at a table and recording. Even when the film breaks up with her checking up on her mother, its struggles develop into something interesting that gets under the skin. Undertone just cannot seem to make its concept sustain the runtime, which ends up feeling longer than it actually is. Because of the film's premise, it's a necessity that the podcast Evie and her co-host Justin is recording is one you might listen to. However, there's nothing that intriguing about that podcast, which primarily consists of playing an odd assortment of sound clips and making a few remarks about them. It's not a podcast that seems particularly listenable, and so having to watch Evie at a table recording it becomes a real slog. A lot of scenes consist of Evie hearing a sound clip of something mysterious and reacting with a shocked expression or typing on her laptop. This hardly makes for riveting cinema. It just becomes hard to care much for Evie and what she is dealing with. The film is also about her daughter taking care of her ailing mother, but the occasional drops of that past relationship and Evie's religious upbringing don't do enough to provide intrigue. Nina Kiri does deliver good performances, underwritten as her character is. Because so much of the film consists of close-ups of her face, there's extra importance placed on the fear and stress she's feeling, and Kiri does a decent job of conveying that. While most of the movie has a fairly ordinary horror film look to it as it films around the house, Undertone has a few moments of visual inspiration. The best scene is Evie listening to some sleeping tapes while looking up at the ceiling, and it's one of the rare moments in Undertone that is quite effective, probably because it's a break from the monotony of the rest of the film. It's also the most effective use of sound, especially compared to the other recordings she listens to. Otherwise, the film relies on a lot of cheap tricks to creep the audience out, but they are all obvious and lack the needed tension. Undertone mostly drags as we get multiple scenes of the same setup, and the lead character does not become someone interesting. It's an example of how you need more in a horror film than just a concept. This is a story that could have been effective, but it struggles to become compelling. The experience is so dull that the mind starts to wander its attention towards the other parts of the house, because the podcast recording we're forced to watch is more likely to put one to sleep than becoming intrigued about the host's findings. And even more disappointing is the film struggling to tap into the emotions Evie might be feeling, preferring largely to give us slow scenes and obvious horror imagery and sounds.